Mike and I got sent a video. And after we lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, where we came on this program and questioned, how we attacked especially, and I'm just going to point out one play, and then we're going to bring on our guest, which was the last play. And why did he cut off half of the field? Was it the right concept? Does Julio make that play if he doesn't slip? Yada, yada, yada. And so we watched this video, and the gentleman's name is Brett Kollmann, and he writes for SB Nation, Battle Red blog. He put out a video blog of all the Falcons plays, a lot of them, and how we had tried to attack the Philadelphia Eagles and called it all stark, no bite.
Right.
And we watched it. And then we were upset after we watched it.
Yeah, so we said, actually, I put out a little, I did actually slap a warning on the Twitter retweet saying, look, this will probably get you upset. So let's talk to Brett and see what he saw there on the video. A lot of folks, we talked to Randy McMichael, a 10-year veteran in the NFL, and he agreed with a lot of things that you were talking about, Brett. Welcome to the airwaves of 92.9 The Game. For guys who are not familiar with it, I mean, how long have you been doing these video breakdowns?
Well, I worked at NFL Network for 5 years and then decided to kind of move into the online space myself and take a swing at YouTube. And so I've been doing that for the past year, and it's grown a lot, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. And I think out of the last year, the 40 episodes I did in the last year, this was without a doubt the most upsetting one to me. I'm not even a Falcons fan.
Right.
And that game just made me angry. It was, I really have no explanation for it. I really don't.
We want to qualify that because I know some people might be like, well, was he an Eagles fan? No, he is just breaking down, all right, what's going on within a football game. And so with that, let's start with some of the things that we saw in this video. And we're specifically talking about the Eagles guys, but I'm here to tell you, watching all these games and some of the stuff Mike and I talk about off the air, there's a lot of things that we did in this game that we tried to attack other teams with that just didn't work either. So we talk about, scheming and play calling. Let's talk about the scheme. What did you make of how we attempted to attack the Eagles?
Well, to me, the worst Eagles defensive performances of the year were against the Seattle Seahawks and the New York Giants. And the Seahawks and the Giants did the same thing, which was spread them out, make them be overly aggressive in man coverage, which is what they like to do. They've got corners that play 7 yards off, and they bite on anything that moves. They come up, they make picks, they get interceptions, they make big plays. We saw that against the Vikings yesterday in the NFC Championship game. It's a big play secondary, but when you're aggressive on the back end, you can also take advantage of by aggressiveness. And I did not see the kind of aggressiveness that you needed to punish the Eagles secondary. They weren't picking them with rub routes. They weren't getting them with double moves. They weren't doing anything that the Seahawks and the Giants had success with. And what's really frustrating to me is that the Seahawks and the Giants have nowhere near, it is not even a conversation when you compare the talent on the Seahawks and the Giants to the talent on the Falcons on the offensive side of the ball. And yet both of them had way more success because they knew how to attack the Eagles defense. And that's what's really upsetting to me is you have the talent but not the scheme. And because of that coaching issue, they might not be going to the Super Bowl. This was a Super Bowl caliber team to me in Atlanta. They kind of had a rough start to the year, but it was a Super Bowl caliber team,
right.
And they're on the couch for no reason.
And that's the thing, is we're joined by Brett Kollmann, guys. It's the film room, and you can catch it on YouTube. It's episode 63, by the way, if you want to see what went down in Philly last week between the Falcons. And that's the thing. We can debate the offensive line issues and all the drops, but we're talking specifically about what happened when you're in Philly with a chance to go to the NFC Championship. Brett, the seam routes. I know in one of the breakdowns you talked about, here's Julio going off to the corner, and what would you like to see two guys up in a seam to maybe make the safety make a decision, if you will?
Yeah, and it's a philosophy that I believe in. I know they sluggo seam. It's a whole Bill Walsh concept. It's been around the NFL forever, and a lot of offenses run it. And I love Bill Walsh. He's one of the greatest coaches ever. But this is a concept that I just don't agree with, because if you're only giving the free safety in the middle of the field one guy to look at, he's going to drive on the ball and he's going to light that receiver up, which is what we saw. Mohamed Sanu almost had his head taken off by Rodney McLeod because he didn't have a decision to make. Julio was running up the boundary on a sluggo. It was a double move. The corner played it well, so Ryan didn't throw it. And because that free safety didn't have to look at Julio because he wasn't near him, he only had one guy to look at, and that was Sanu. And it was a dangerous play design. It's a play design that I hate because it can get receivers hurt. And if the quarterback doesn't have an absolutely amazing pump fake to move that safety, it's not going to work. Ryan didn't have the best pump fake in the world, so it didn't work, and he almost got his receiver hurt. And I really disagree with that play design, and they could have had him. If they just ran double seams, they could have had him, and they missed that opportunity.
Brett Coleman, our guest here on Dukes and Bell, as we talk about, again, just a little bit of a breakdown of our scheme and how we tried to attack the Eagles. But more importantly, this is a big picture thing, man, because, we see these things, Brett, and we go, can Sark get better? Is the play calling and the strategizing and the game planning going to get better? And you would assume in year 2 it is. And our coach, Dan Quinn, has come out and said, yes, he will be back. Let me ask you this, not having Matt Ryan in the shotgun, I know that bothered you before the half or as we approach the half. What was going on there?
Well, to me, it's a minute 40 to go in the first half, and you only got one timeout. So, of course, you're going to be passing the ball. The Eagles' defensive line is going to be teeing off on Matt Ryan. So why he was under center is something I still don't understand. You have to put him in the shotgun so that he has time to get the ball out against the rush. If he's wasting a second and a half or 2 seconds on a 5-step drop, by the time he has to step up and get rid of that ball, Fletcher Cox is in his face. He needs to be in the shotgun where you can take a 3-step drop from there, get the ball out quickly, and at least try to move the ball downfield. Instead, you take a sack, an absolutely crucial sack that you could not afford to take right there. So it's situational awareness. You look at teams that Bill Belichick coaches, he's not going to be under center with a minute 40 to go into the first half with only one timeout.
Right.
You're not going to run the ball in that situation, so why are you pretending that you're going to run the ball? It doesn't make sense to me.
Give your quarterback an extra second or two to go make a throw. Brett Coleman joins us here, guys, from the film room here on the waitfor.com hotline, talking about the video breakdown of the divisional playoff game with the Falcons and the Eagles. The other thing, and I know you mentioned it, we've talked a lot about it, listeners did too, of the 2 running backs. Just not a good day. We now know that Devontae Freeman wasn't 100%. Tevin Coleman was the hot hand. Not only was he hot, he wasn't dialed up as much as he should have been in the second half.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to, this was another reason why I thought the Falcons had a great chance to win this game. The Eagles have probably the best 1-2 punch in terms of interior defensive linemen in the entire league. Fletcher Cox and Timmy Jernigan, it's impossible to run on them inside. So I anticipated that a guy like Devontae Freeman, who's a really tough inside runner, he's got some edge speed, but he's really at his best when he's running that inside zone into the teeth of the defense, just powering through with strength and muscle and lower body and all that kind of stuff. But when you're running against Fletcher Cox and Timmy Jernigan, that doesn't really work. They are an immovable wall of people inside. So really the best way to attack the Eagles on the ground, you do like what the Rams did with Todd Gurley. They're throwing pitches and shovels and crack toss and all that kind of stuff. They're getting him on the edge, which is what they did with Tevin Coleman.
Right.
He got the edge multiple times because, Fletcher Cox and Jernigan, for how strong they are, they don't run 4-4. They're not going to get to the edge before Tevin Coleman does. So you have to go around them rather than through them. And I feel like if they probably dialed up just a few more of those plays with Coleman in the second half, maybe they would have had more balance and they would have had a better shot to put some more points on the board. I didn't see enough carries from him in the second half, at least for my taste. It was a 1-score game. They could have got him more involved. And again, that was just another one of those misses situationally that kind of just added up over the course of the game where you look back and you can just kind of wonder what if, and that's
right.
it.
It is, and that's why our guys, as you said, are on the couch. But we had a Super Bowl quality, talented team that wasn't able to get it done. But a lot of that gets back to something we talked about all year long, and we wanted to get you on today to kind of point some of these things out. We invite you to go check out the video, guys. I know you've looked at the Patriots. You're talking about the Eagles. Let's look ahead to the Super Bowl, because what you just pointed out in ways to attack the Eagles, do the Patriots have the personnel to do that? And let's assume Grunk's healthy, he's back and ready for the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely, they have the personnel. That's all they do. They get people with double moves with Brandon Cooks because he's their speed threat. They'll show the hitch, they'll show the slant, and then it's just 1 foot in the ground and go. He runs 4-3, so Brady can hit him deep off those double moves anytime he wants to. Same thing with Gronkowski. He's an excellent route runner, especially on double moves. I don't anticipate them to get much success running the ball up the middle, but then again, nobody does against the Eagles. So then you look at guys like Dion Lewis and James White hitting the edges, which is what they did against Atlanta a year ago in the Super Bowl.
That's
so as long as everybody's healthy, as long as Gronk plays and all that kind of stuff, they have a great personnel to attack this Eagles defense. And it's going to be on Nick Foles to kind of go toe-to-toe with Brady, or I think the Patriots win the Super Bowl again this year.
Yeah,
I'm kind of getting that feeling there. Brett Kollmann's with us from the film room talking about the Super Bowl. What did you think, though, about Jacksonville kind of going to a shell, or was that more about what Matt Patricia dialed up to take away some of their run game? Because obviously they were getting big bunches from Fournette and from Yeldon.
Yeah, I think they got a little bit too predictable there in the second half. I feel like they were kind of playing not to lose. You could see the Fournette first down run coming 5 times in a row, and they stopped it all 5 times. They really could have got him with play action there. But again, it was a playing not to lose mentality. I feel like they didn't want to take shots with Bortles that they weren't absolutely confident he could do. But to me, it's the AFC Championship game. You're playing against the Patriots. You have their backs against the wall. You have to step on their throat or they're going to win. The Patriots don't walk away wounded. You have to kill them or they won't go away. And the Jags just didn't kill them.
That's exactly right. Hey, Brett, man, we appreciate the time. By the way, how often do you put out these videos?
I've got one coming out every week. I got another one coming out this week. I think I'm probably going to be breaking down that Patriots-Jags game itself, and then I'll have one in the run-pass option with Nick Foles the week after that. So I don't know if Atlanta fans will be interested in reliving that, but I will have that out for them next week.
I do want you to repeat this, though. Out of all the games you watched this year, you said this was the most maddening because of what we have on offense and the way we refused and under-executed in our attempt to attack the Eagles, right? That's what you said.
I picked the Falcons to win the Super Bowl this year for a reason, and it's because they're the most talented team in the league, and having that talent wasted sickens me. I'm not a Falcons fan, but I'm a fan of the sport, and I like to see teams live up to their potential, and I feel like
it sickens me too.
I mean, again, we wanted to get you on last week, but it's still fresh. These wounds are still fresh. Anyway, check out the film room, Brett. It really is a great breakdown. As we said, we had one of our guys here that works and played in the NFL, and he was agreeing with a lot of the things you were throwing out there on the rub routes and something maybe hopefully moving forward we'll see more of next year. Thanks so much for a great job with that stuff.
Thank you.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's Brett Kollmann, guys. And as we said, if you hadn't seen it, it's out there. If you just go Film Room episode 63, and you can see some of the things that we've been kind of focusing on the last 2 weeks here.
He's right. He's absolutely right.
Or unless you really, but here's the thing, caveat, unless you want to get upset. If you want to get upset, go. If you don't want to get upset, then do not go to Film Room episode 63.
And today's the kind of day where you probably don't want to get upset. Hey, we're coming back. When we do, Mike Conti will join us. Hey, and a big shout-out to a Falcon who we just found out is going to the Pro Bowl. We'll tell you who it is next.
Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
The Hawks play here.
Stops, pops, three-pointer, bang!